The shocking truth behind Col Joye's final days. How did Australia's rock and roll pioneer truly live? And what happened at the end? From fame and fortune to the mystery surrounding his death, this is the untold story you can't miss. On the 5th of August, 2025, the nation of Australia mourned the death of a true pioneer. A man whose voice and vision were instrumental in the beginning of the rock and roll scene in Australia. Colin Frederick Jacobson, better known as Col Joye, went away at the age of 89, leaving behind a legacy that stretched nearly 7 decades since his birth. Known for songs such as Bye Bye Baby and Heaven Is My Woman's Love, he earned the distinction of becoming the first Australian to have a #1 single across the country. He was a pioneer who introduced rock music to a country that was starving for its own sound. His passing, which came after a protracted struggle with health problems, signified the end of an era. Yet, his music and influence continue to be influential. Col's life was a rich tapestry of victories, setbacks, and unshakable devotion on every level. Beginning with his humble roots in the working-class suburbs of Sydney, and culminating in the discovery of the Bee Gees and the establishment of an entertainment empire with his brothers. His narrative is one of perseverance and heart. He was a loving family man, a generous philanthropist, and an adored figure whose grin lit up stages and hearts. His story is one of heart. The incredible trip that Col Joye took, his cause of death, his age, his family, his net worth, his lifestyle, and his biography are all highlighted today. A story of a man who was responsible for giving Australia its rock and roll DNA. On the 13th of April in 1936, Colin Jacobson was born in Sydney, New South Wales, into a family that struggled financially but had an abundance of affection toward one another. Having been raised in a humble household by his parents, George and Minnie Jacobson, he was one of 4 siblings, along with his brothers Kevin and Keith, as well as his sister Carol. He and his brothers would spend their free time playing music or kicking a ball around in the streets of Sydney's suburbs, which were characterized by a post-war grit. This environment had a significant impact on his boyhood. Col dropped out of Temple High School when he was 14 years old, in order to assist his family financially. He looked for work as a jeweler or salesman, but music was his true calling. In 1957, when he was 21 years old, he became a member of the KJ Quintet, which was his brother Kevin's band. They performed rock and roll at neighborhood dances and movie theaters. As a result of a clairvoyant's advice, Colin decided to take on the stage name Col Joye. When the band was offered a concert at the Manly Jazzorama, they changed their name to Col Joye and the Joy Boys, and Keith joined them on bass. In those early days, you could feel the raw energy of youth and the excitement of a new music that was sweeping over Australia. These days were exhilarating. Because of his sweet voice and boy-next-door charm, Col stood out as a beacon in a music landscape that was dominated by acts from the United States and the United Kingdom. The year 1959 was a bright one for Col Joye. But it was his 3rd single, Bye Bye Baby, which was written by American Frank McNulty and reaching #3 on the Kent Music Report charts, backed by the soulful harmonies of the Sapphires. His first record, which was a version of Lloyd Price's Stagger Lee, was the one that set the stage. In that same year, O Yeraha shot straight to the top of the charts, where it remained for a total of 4 weeks. This achievement made Col the first Australian artist to achieve a hit that topped the charts across the entire country. After that, he released songs such as Rock and Rollin' Clementine and Yes Sir, That's My Baby, which helped solidify his position as a pioneer in the rock and roll genre. As a contrast to Johnny O'Keefe's wild energy, he became a regular on Brian Henderson's Bandstand, where he captivated audiences for 14 years with his uncluttered appearance. Col and the Joy Boys gave a performance at Lee Gordon's Rock and Roll Spectacular at Sydney Stadium in October of 1959. The footage of the performance was later recovered in 2020 for the purpose of being used in the film Rock and Roll. Cole took rock to every region of Australia by touring with bandstand talents such as Judy Stone and Little Patty during the course of his career. He demonstrated his talent as a songwriter by writing Bad Man for Conway Twitty in 1960, which went on to become a top 20 smash. As a result of Cole's voice, Australia's rock ambitions were brought to the rest of the world during those years, which were a hurricane of success. During the 1960s, there were both triumphs and difficulties. Following their tour of the United States with Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs, Cole and the Joy Boys were the first Australian rock band to achieve a chart position on the American Billboard charts in the year 1959. The British invasion, which was led by the Beatles, caused a shift in the music environment, which in turn reduced Cole's popularity on the charts. He continued to perform ballads and, eventually, country songs, despite the fact that he was discouraged. As Cole was traveling through Surfer's Paradise in 1961, he came across three young brothers named Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb, who were performing under the name Bee Gees. It was in 1963 when he released his single Starlight of Love, which featured their vocals. He had signed them to Joy Music. In 1966, he gave a performance for Australian troops stationed in Vietnam, close to the Battle of Long Tan. He later described this moment of pride as a humbling experience. In the late 1960s, he and Kevin established Joy Enterprises, Joy Music, and ATA Studios in Glebe. Together, they established a formidable organization that managed musicians such as Andy Gibb and the Bee Gees through their management services. However, Cole's heart stayed on stage, where his performances emanated warmth, despite the fact that their financial acumen shined brightly. Heaven is My Woman's Love, a country-flavored smash that topped the Go Set charts and demonstrated his continuing appeal, was produced by him in 1973 and marked his return to the music industry. Cole's life was not devoid of trying circumstances. While he was using a chainsaw to prune a tree belonging to a neighbor in the year 1990, he fell 6 meters onto brick paving, hit his head, and went into a coma immediately after the accident. The accident caused him to sustain severe injuries to his back and shoulders, and the doctors offered him a gloomy outlook on his recovery. Still, Cole's tenacity shone through in every way. In 2002, he returned to perform alongside Normie Rowe and Brian Cadd on the Long Way to the Top tour, strumming his ukulele with a smile that won over audiences. He had made a full recovery from his injury. Cole was my hero, Normie Rowe recalled in a subsequent statement. I aspired to be that kind of vocalist, one who was real and friendly. Cole was forced to retire from regular performing as a result of the injury. However, he never stopped being a musician and continued to perform on occasion for special events. His passion of entrepreneurship was also tested by difficulties. Jacobson Entertainment was devastated by a family conflict in the year 2012, which was prompted by disagreements regarding the roles that Cole's daughter Amber and Kevin's son Michael were supposed to play in the management of the Dirty Dancing musical. The disagreement resulted in lawsuits and Kevin's bankruptcy in 2011, which was a difficult chapter for the brothers who had worked together to build an entrepreneurial empire. In spite of this, Cole's generosity persisted, as he continued to covertly assist charitable organizations and nurture budding artists. The kind of life that Cole led was a combination of modesty and passion. His success in the music industry, record sales, and the accomplishments of Joy Enterprises and Jacobson Entertainment contributed to his net worth, which is expected to be between $2 and $10 million in the year 2020. Cole led a simple life in Sydney, and he drove a humble Holden Commodore rather than showy cars. This is in contrast to the lifestyles of present celebrities. At the same time as he enjoyed spending evenings at local pubs and telling stories to his followers, he was frequently seen in the beaches of Sydney, where he used to surf when he was even younger. It was a treasure trove of memorabilia, gold records, and a 1998 Australia Post stamp honoring "Oh Yeah Ha," as well as his first guitar, which he gave to Normie Rowe in his latter years, adding, "I won't be needing it on stage anymore." His home was a treasure trove of memorabilia. Cole was a generous individual who contributed to the betterment of children's hospitals and music programs. He frequently gave unannounced performances at benefit concerts while doing so. When he was at home, he would spend hours listening to Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash, two artists that had a significant impact on his musical style. His passion for music extended to the collection of vintage recordings. His roots in the working class were reflected in the fact that his life was always centered around his family and community. Cole cherished his family beyond all else. In 1970, he, together with his sister Carol and Sandy Scott, who was a regular at the bandstand, tied the knot with Dallas Dawson in a wedding that took place in Fiji. The two children that Cole and Dallas brought up together, Clayton and Amber, were raised in an environment that was filled with music. The year 1997 saw the beginning of Amber's career with Jacobson Entertainment, while Clayton pursued a career away from the public eye. Kevin and Keith, Cole's brothers, were his musical colleagues in the Joy Boys, and Cole's sister Carol promoted bandstand talents such as Sandy Scott through their own bands. A pilot by the name of Malcolm Hansman made a claim in 2013 that he was Cole's son from a previous relationship with his mother, Ingrid. However, Cole declined to have a DNA test performed on him, and the subject eventually faded away. The undying dedication that Cole had for Dallas and his children was unflinching. When he talked about family dinners, he frequently mentioned how they would giggle over old bandstand CDs. Cole's friendliness was something that little Patty, who had performed with him in Vietnam, remembers. He loved everyone, and there was no one who did not adore him. As a result of his family's announcement that he had passed away on the 5th of August, 2025, which was broadcast on Ben Fordham's 2 Gigabytes radio show, condolences were received from all over Australia. Fans on X shared their unforgettable recollections of his contagious smile. The later years of Cole's life were marked by challenges with his health. In the year 2022, when he was 85 years old, he was dealing with health problems that were not publicized. This prompted Ben Fordham to devote airtime to his music, adding, "We're hoping Cole's near a radio." His health had worsened by the year 2025, despite the fact that the specifics of his ailments were kept confidential. It is possible that the accident that occurred in 1990 caused lasting repercussions. The news that Cole had passed away on the 5th of August, 2025, at the age of 89, was confirmed by his family. The reason for his death was not disclosed to the public. Nonetheless, posts on X and reports in the media indicate that it was connected to his ongoing health problems. Normie Rowe referred to him as a true gentleman, and little Patty expressed her sorrow over the loss of a music legend. The Australian Recording Industry Association praised his contributions over the course of 6 decades, including his election into the ARIA Hall of Fame in 1988, and his receipt of the Order of Australia for Philanthropy in 1981. In the year 2010, his popular song "Bye Bye Baby" was included in the National Film and Sound Archive. Additionally, his legacy was honored in the television series Long Way to the Top that aired on ABC in the year 2001. A chapter was ended with Cole's passing, but his music, which was lively and emotional, will always be remembered. The life of Col Joye was a beautiful melodic composition of bravery, kindness, and rock and roll. In his role as Australia's first national chart topper, he cleared the way for local musicians by demonstrating that they were capable of competing with international talents. There was a period of time that was marked by his discovery of the Bee Gees, his legacy on the bandstand, and his singles such as Oh Yeah Huh and Heaven Is My Woman's Love. The spirit of Cole never faltered, even in the face of the British invasion, a near-fatal accident, and family feuds throughout his life. At the same time that he mentored young musicians and provided Australia a sound that it could call its own, he performed for the troops in Vietnam. His legacy is ingrained in each and every chord of Australian rock music, and he is survived by Dallas, Clayton, and Amber, as well as a country of fans. There is truth in the words of Normie Rowe. That was the kind of singer I aspired to be. It would be really appreciated if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel if you have been moved by the story of Col Joye's passion, perseverance, and love for music. Let us be sure to preserve his music, which is a beat that continues to rock the soul of Australia. We are grateful that you were able to be a part of the wonderful celebration of Col Joye's life.